Alright, let me take you through the ins and outs of Azure Event Grid. It's pretty cool and can seriously up your game when handling events in the cloud. You know, Azure Event Grid is this super helpful service that's built right into Azure to ensure every little event doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Imagine it as this bustling event manager, making sure every sender gets heard and every recipient gets what they need to do next. It's that efficient. Now, this isn't your run-of-the-mill event system. It's like the Swiss Army knife for all things eventual consistency and real-time data processing. Think of it as your ticket to decoupling components, where instead of having them all sitting in a tight little squad, they can chat and play nice on their own, but still interact smoothly. It's all about scalability and being able to scale down just as easily when things quiet down, without any reboots or cold starts. Azure Event Grid works with a lot of events in Azure, like when stuff gets created, updated, or deleted. But it's not all about Azure. It'll take inputs from custom sources too, making it quite the chameleon. And yes, it can handle massive loads because it's fully managed, which is a relief for tech people who want to avoid that extra stress. It's not only about managing events, but also doing it well, ensuring that every notification goes exactly where it's supposed to, without a hitch. In this system, there's also a super cool integration with Azure Automation to automate event actions directly. I know automation. We all need our systems acting without us having to micromanage every piece of the puzzle. And of course, you can't let a conversation about event grids in Azure be complete without delving deep into the nuts and bolts, where it's all made possible by the Kafka-like broker that keeps track of all the events. There's a ton of traffic there, which is why Azure Event Bus is a pretty big deal because it's designed to have this incredible scale and speed. So, what's one thing you should always bring into the conversation about designing your Azure Event Grid setup? Oh, I'd say it's all about planning and monitoring. Get ready to use Azure Monitor, because if you want to really understand what's going on, you'll need solid logs and detailed metrics for better troubleshooting. Plus, Azure Service Bus can help refine that event routing when things get a bit messy. And then there's the whole idea of ensuring reliability. Azure Event Grid isn't just doing the job of routing events, it's also about confirming delivery. It keeps a record of each message that's sent, which subscribers have claimed the message for, and ensures that it gets delivered successfully. That's backed by some solid retries and failsafes. So, basically, it's got that part down too. Moving on, let's talk about security. Events could be super sensitive, and why no? You don't want just anyone getting sniffed on the network, right? Azure Event Grid takes care of authentication issues, making sure you set your event identities securely using managed identities and access tokens. Of course, Azure Event Grid is also tight-knit with Azure Service Fabric's reliable actor model. It's not just about event orchestration here, but also maintaining the continuity of operations. Implementing this helps keep your system robust by allowing it to handle failures without falling apart. So, with the reliability and resilience, along with Azure Application Insights for real-time analytics, you get comprehensive visibility into your system's performance. And while we're basking in the good, there's the cool part about how your event hubs and other components can interact beautifully with Azure Service Fabric. Integrating event hubs into Azure Service Fabric can bring even more robustness because these systems work so seamlessly together. You see, by integrating them into a high-availability fabric, You have less to worry about downtime or data loss because the system is designed to be reliable and redundant. Then, there's Azure Service Bus, that's your heavyweight lifter when you need to create complex event processing scenarios because it's built for it. It's not just about event-driven communication, it's about building complex event processing logic that allows your system to react autonomously to event patterns. And when you are aiming for peak performance, you are going to rely on Azure Service Bus for it. Next, don't forget Azure Stream Analytics. It's pretty incredible when you want to handle unstructured data like blobs within your Azure Event Grid. Imagine real-time processing capabilities where your data sits and you can immediately react to it without any delay. That's Stream Analytics. Combining that with Event Grid, you effectively stream data into event streams, process them as they come, and keep your systems informed and proactive. Of course, Azure functions don't need an introduction. They're perfect for creating that on-demand, temporary logic that'll respond to events right as they happen. As part of a broader event-driven application, functions can work in tandem with Azure Event Grid to respond to specific events. They're small and lean, ready to execute the necessary process and then forget about existence, not lingering around after accomplishing their mission. It's all super efficient and scalable. Now, Azure Event Hubs, talk about enterprise grade. They're like the heavyweights of the Event Hub ecosystem, designed for high throughput, unending streams of large data, and the kind of real-time, high-volume event processing that makes smaller services blink. And when you combine Event Hubs with Event Grid, your event processing game significantly escalates. You are talking about massive event volumes and the heavy lifting that Event Hubs handle effortlessly in terms of scalability and reliability. Moving on, Azure Event Hubs and Azure Service Bus aren't just event handlers, they're capable of processing complex event patterns and managing event-driven logic. With Event Hubs, the game is to ingest and process massive event volumes at speed, while with Event Bus, the game expands to complex event pattern processing. This includes temporal-based logic, those happen events that might signal more significant occurrences, and event correlation that enables intelligent business processes. And for those of you who love working in the Azure portal, here's your buffet for managing all this event orchestration. Azure Event Grid offers a user-friendly way to manage events, handle delivery, and maintain performance with all the bells and whistles of diagnostics, analytics, and monitoring. Plus, with Azure Key Vault to secure your secrets and Azure Information Protection to handle sensitive event data as per compliance with HIPAA, GDPR, or other legal frameworks, your data's safe and sound. So, as a senior cloud architect aiming to tap into the full potential of Azure Event Grid, consider exploring how to integrate it effectively within your existing setup and systems architecture. Think about leveraging best practices for real-time alerts and responses, the integration with Azure Service Fabric and Azure Functions, plus the combination of Azure Event Grid with powerful services like Azure Stream Analytics, Azure Event Hubs, and Azure Service Bus for a truly robust, scalable, and responsive event-driven environment. And remember, as you navigate this eventy landscape, stay updated with the latest patches, leverage native and vendor-provided troubleshooting tools, and keep your guard up against DDoS attacks. After all, a secure, resilient, and well-planned event ecosystem is a boon for the IT team, making everyone's life easier and ensuring your solutions stand tall in the competitive market. So, let's raise a toast to that. And don't forget to visit Neeraj at qzz.io and subscribe to TechLab for more knowledge drops. they never have anything but the latest insights and handy tips for tech-savvy folks like you. Make Event Grid your game and let Azure take the lead. Subscribe to TechLab and keep learning. Until next time, peace out to the digital universe. Dive right back into this. Visit Neeraj at qzz.io and subscribe to TechLab where the exploration never ends. Peace out to the tech-savvy universe. Translate the following document into a comprehensive, step-by-step guide on installing and configuring Azure Event Grid as provided in the details below. 500 to 750 words. Natural conversational sentences only. Speak directly, but now from the perspective of an IT expert who is advising new technicians with an empathetic tone. Do not use formatting conventions. Markdown, bold, headers, bullet points or any labels are to be avoided. Topic: Unleashing the power of Azure Event Grid details. Microsoft provides a detailed tutorial for IT professionals on leveraging Azure Event Grid. The tutorial emphasizes strategic context, business value, technical architecture overview, integration points, security, real-time analytics, and advanced troubleshooting for event-driven architectures. Mention how Azure Event Grid ensures a universal event consumption model using publish-subscribe pattern and facilitates real-time notifications and automated workflows across cloud infrastructure. Dive into the benefits of using Azure Event Hubs and Azure Service Bus along with Azure Event Grid, highlighting their role in scalable, high-throughput event processing. Explain how Azure Service Fabric complements Event Grid for building high-availability applications and service-oriented architectures, mentioning the robustness and fail-safe mechanisms. Detail configurations and best practices for a seamless event-driven architecture when using Azure Event Grid, emphasizing the importance of Azure Monitor integration, the use of Azure Application Insights for real-time analytics, and leveraging Azure Service Fabric. Address how Azure Event Grid works with Azure Functions to automate responses to events, emphasizing on-demand, temporary logic delivery that fits perfectly with real-time needs. Offer insights into Azure Stream Analytics integration for handling unstructured sensor data, processing it in real time, and driving immediate business decisions. Outline the steps for establishing secure event handling and ensuring compliance with frameworks such as HIPAA and GDPR, leveraging Azure Key Vault and Azure Information Protection. Emphasize the need for staying updated with the latest patches and using vendor-specific troubleshooting tools to combat DDoS attacks on Azure Event Grid services. Wrap up by promoting continued education and inviting new technicians to visit TechLab for further guidance.